The macrobiotic diet versus the Ikigai diet part 2. That is something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. I know I have made a video before about the differences between the macrobiotic diet and the Ikigai diet, but I thought it would be kind of good to make another video after the video, brown rice versus fermented brown rice, because it's kind of a continuation of the last video in the sense. Plus, today is the 2023, and I have a slightly newer kind of concept about the differences between the two. By the way, I just found these in the supermarket, and this is called Edo Soba, and this is called Kyo Udon. Yeah, those are kind of instant sort of noodles sold at the supermarket. But soba, and udon that I talked about, I shared with you a video called Soba versus Udon, which is healthier. Yeah, right. And then, so Edo means Tokyo, and Kyo means Kyoto. So again, it kind of represent the East Japan and the West Japan, so soba versus udon type of, image, yeah, in the store. Yeah, so people want to kind of try the taste to see, how those two are different and so on. But I mean, this is soba, this is udon. I haven't eaten them, so I don't know, how they are, but that's I just want to, to tell you that how things are divided between the East Japan and West Japan.
Okay, so in the last video, which was brown rice versus fermented brown rice, I talked about the regular brown rice and the fermented brown rice, which is called koso genmai in Japanese. Okay, and then I said some people who practice the macrobiotic diet don't eat koso genmai because they think the brown rice is the most neutral food. And by fermenting brown rice, it changes the brown rice to be slightly more in. Right. So today, I'd like to talk about the macrobiotic diet and the Ikigai diet, how different they are and how similar they are. Okay. And first of all, I'd like to point out that there is no one single macrobiotic diet these days because there are so many different schools of the macrobiotic diet and different people practice the macrobiotic diet in different ways. So I cannot just generalize one thing. And so what I will talk about today is based on my own experience because I used to practice the macrobiotic diet back in England many years ago. And the things I've heard from people who have practiced the diet, right? It doesn't represent the macrobiotic, dietary culture. Okay, so both the macrobiotic diet and the Ikigai diet are based on Japanese natural health, and they are both organic whole food diet. Yeah. And the macrobiotic diet was developed by a man called Yukikazu Sakurazawa, who is known as George Osawa. Yeah, he went to France, and then this name George Osawa was given to him in France. And since then, people like Michio Kushi spread the diet to the United States and other countries. So the macrobiotic diet became popular all over the world. Yeah. And then Yukikazu Sakurazawa is the first one to spread the diet, and he is the developer. And he developed it in the early 20th century, which is about 100 years ago. And the Ikigai diet, as you know, is developed by me, Sachiaki Takamiya, in the early 21st century. I think I came up with the diet somewhere around 2016 or 2017 and so on. So yeah, early 21st century, almost 100 years later. And therefore, in many ways, it is newer and it is more modern. Now, the macrobiotic diet valued three concepts. The first one is Ichibutsu Zen Taishoku, which I did talk about before. It means eating food as a whole. And Shindo Fuji, which means eating locally, eating seasonally. Yeah, those two are important concepts from the Japanese natural food movement because they were practiced in Zen Shojin diet as well, which was practiced many centuries before the macrobiotic diet was born, right? And the macrobiotic diet also value a concept called in-yo-chowa, yeah, which means the harmony between yin and yang. You know the Chinese concept of yin and yang, two opposing forces, right? In the Ikigai diet, we practice Ichibutsu Zen Taishoku and Shindo Fuji as well. However, we don't practice in-yo-chowa. It doesn't mean we don't value it. In fact, I think the balance between yin and yang is critical. Yeah. So to lead our life, whatever we do, whether to eat or exercise or just to do a gardening or anything, the balance between the two is important. However, when it comes to food, like dividing, these type of food are more yin or these are more yang, and can try to create a balance and things, it's something that we don't do. Yeah, it doesn't mean we don't value it either, but it's a little too complicated. It's a little too much to think, about it all the time, and the doability and the practicality is important in the Ikigai diet. So I just made, things more simplified, yeah, because it's easier for us to practice it. And in that sense, the macrobiotic diet is more philosophical. It's based on this concept of yin and yang, and they kind of created the diet from this philosophy. While the Ikigai diet is more practical, we are basing the actual diet of the Japanese centenarians, the centenarians from the Japanese blue zones, and Shizenha people, the naturalists, the young Japanese naturalists who are inheritors of the centenarians, right? And then especially the young Shizenha people, they are flexible. Yeah, and this flexibility is important because I told you the macrobiotic diet was developed 100 years ago, and many of the old Japanese teachings, whether it is a martial art or healing art or diet, some of the teachings which were taught by the older generations tend to be very kind of Japanese way, which is, we're not allowed to ask the teacher question, and we are supposed to just listen to whatever the teacher says and follow the teacher's instructions. Yeah, but in the modern Japan, that is not the way. People like to ask questions. We like to change if there's things that we don't like, or we just experiment things ourselves after learning about them. And if it doesn't work, and we're flexible enough to change. That's the modern approach. So the Ikigai diet is pretty much based on this modern culture. So we do change if what we practice, turned out to be not helpful for us, then yeah, we are happy to change. Yeah, and adapt. And in fact, we do apply a lot of new scientific discoveries, including autophagy. So the Ikigai diet is constantly evolving. I mean, it may be true for the modern macrobiotic diet too. I mean, people who practice the diet today are probably as flexible as we are. So, I cannot really say about them. I'm only talking about the old, the macrobiotic diet that I experienced. And we eat a lot of vegetables in the Ikigai diet. Now, people talk about high something diet, like high protein diet or high fat diet or high carb diet and so on. And there is no high in the Ikigai diet. We eat everything proportionally in a good balance. But if there were one type of food that we eat a lot, and that is vegetables. So in a way, you can say it is a high vegetable diet. So we value vegetables a lot. In the macrobiotic diet, however, they avoid certain type of vegetables such as eggplants or tomatoes because they are in the nightshade family. Yeah, and we don't avoid them in the Ikigai diet because we kind of promote gardening. We recommend people to grow their own food. And eggplants and tomatoes are very common vegetable to grow in your garden. Yeah, and it is very easy to grow them. So, it's much easier if we include them in our diet to live naturally. So, eat what is available in your garden and the local community. So, whatever the vegetable which are kind of easy to grow, and then do it, then eat them. Yeah, instead of kind of avoiding certain food, because of they're too young or too young, and that applies to the local community too, because sometimes each year different vegetables can be harvested. Some year some vegetables are not harvested well and so on. Then just go with the flow, go with the environment, go with that situation, and that way you can create things more sustainable. It is more sustainable way of doing things. Another thing is coffee. The macrobiotic people often avoid drinking coffee, but in the Ikigai diet, we include coffee because coffee activates autophagy. And especially when you practice the intermittent fasting, which I recommend in the Ikigai diet, it's good to drink something to kind of deal with your hunger. Yeah, if you don't eat anything for 16 hours or 17 hours, drinking coffee or green tea helps. Yeah, and then both coffee and green tea activate autophagy as long as you don't put any, sugar or any kind of sweeteners. Yeah, black coffee and then organic coffee, and then it can activate autophagy. So it's a great drink to have during your fasting window. And the Ikigai diet is big on fermented food, such as natto. I'm crazy about natto. I call myself natto king. So we eat a lot of natto and other fermented food. The macrobiotic diet do value fermented food too, but not as much as the Ikigai diet because, by fermenting food, they can make food more in. So, they don't avoid fermented food, but it's not stressed as much as it is in the Ikigai diet. And also we are big on fiber. Yeah. So high vegetable diet is okay, but more accurately, I would say high fiber diet. The Ikigai diet is a high fiber diet. And according to Will Balsabich, Dr. Will Balsabich, who is the author of Fiber Fuel, diverse fiber is critical. You want to eat a wide variety of fiber to feed your diverse gut microbiome. And then he recommends that we should eat 30 different kinds of fiber a week. Now, that's a lot of different kinds of fiber. Yeah, if you're avoiding certain kind of feeds or certain kind of vegetables, such as, nightshade family, you may not meet, 30 different kinds. Yeah, therefore, it is better to be more inclusive from the fiber diversity point of view. Yeah, and we eat some raw vegetables, while some macrobiotic people avoid eating raw vegetables, especially when you because if you are coming out of your fast, yeah, raw vegetables are great food to ingest as your fast breaking, ingredients. Yeah, they contain more enzymes if you eat them raw. So I usually have a salad, yeah, for fast breaking meal. Yeah, I usually make a natto salad. Yeah, and especially when I come out of the 24-hour fast or 36 hours fast. Yeah. So that is, another difference. And then I believe in a kind of fiber diversity, and then diverse ingredient compensate. Yeah. So it is possible that some ingredient may be slightly harmful, maybe contain some, harmful nutrient and so on, but small amount doesn't kill you. Yeah. And then if you are eating other or ingesting other nutrient, they kind of compensate, they kind of help each other. So they probably have a more synergetic effect. So you end up becoming more balanced than avoiding a certain type of ingredient because you think they are harmful. Now, having said that, both the macrobiotic diet and the Ikigai diet are based on the natural lifestyle, and they are both based on Japanese spirituality. So, both of them are good to practice. Yeah. And in some ways, the macrobiotic diet is probably better for the kind of disease for the prevention of disease and so on, because it is stricter and therefore it can be more effective. So if you have a certain problem, because the Ikigai diet is designed for healthy individuals, healthy individuals to practice for a long time. Yeah. But if you have a certain conditions, and then maybe applying a diet like the macrobiotic diet can help you in a short time span. Yeah, in the same way as the ketogenic diet and other diet do. Right. Yeah. But if you are, like me, you've tried the macrobiotic diet and you found it too strict, and then but still you like the Japanese natural dietary culture, then why not try the Ikigai diet? Yeah, it is also based on the Japanese natural dietary culture, but it's a lot more flexible and a lot more modern. Right. Okay, so these are the factors in the Ikigai diet. So those two, Ichibutsu Zentai Shoku and Shindo Fuji are also in the macrobiotic diet, but we have them too. But we have some other factors. And Ichiju Sansai is a common concept in Washoku culture. So probably the macrobiotic diet include Ichiju Sansai too. Magoi Asashi is more recent concept. Yeah, it is a way to diversify your fiber intake. And so by applying Magoi Asashi to choose ingredients, you can reach 30 different kind of fiber a week. Yeah, and Hanayana-K is unique to the Ikigai diet too. Hanayana-K itself is a Japanese concept, but applying it in the diet is unique to the Ikigai diet. Yeah, for details, please read the book, The Ikigai Diet, The Secret Japanese Diet to Health and Longevity. It is available on Amazon, both as a Kindle book and a print-on-demand paperback. Okay, thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and please subscribe to my channel. Please leave your comment. Have you practiced the macrobiotic diet? How about the Ikigai diet? What are your experiences? Okay, I will see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai.